Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels to short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. Man, we are back. 1 month.
We're back. It's
It's been about a month that we have not done our live show. I've missed you.
I know, likewise. With the holidays and everything going on, and then it's been an interesting start to the year. 2 weeks ago, I was in the middle of some things, and then last week you were in the middle of some things, and we wanted to kind of honor the same time, same place. And
right.
Well, here we are.
And now we're back. But we did a lot. I don't want to cover all the holidays. I think it's too late to say Happy New Year.
No.
But is it? When does that finish? I think it's now. We've had this debate with a lot of people out there. But I think it's this week. We're on the 22nd. It's as Larry David would say, I think it's enough.
You know, I think actually different. I think it's always welcome to wish somebody a Happy New Year. Because think about it. You're just giving well wishes.
It's true. I'll take it.
Are somebody going to really be like, you're like, Happy New Year? And they're like, you're dumb. I don't want your good wishes for the year. It is way too late. You should have wished me that a week ago.
All right. Well, then Happy New Year, everybody.
I'd love to have this conversation with Larry David, by the way. That would be great.
Yes, it's good to see everybody. But like you said, a lot going on in the world, all big things. But you went through something that was very crazy, hardcore, scary. I was following along from Miami, but you were really watching it all happen and unfold in LA. So you want to talk a little bit about what you saw out there?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like while kind of talking about that, if you guys are hopping in and joining our live, let us know where you're joining us from. I happen to be in New York at the moment, but for those of you that know, I am based in Los Angeles. Now, two weeks ago, we were actually going to do a show, and I was still in Las Vegas. And that I was surrounded by a lot of sick people. And I was like, I just need to get back to LA. People were like, oh, there's winds. And I'm like, okay, well, it gets windy, whatever. Totally downplaying it. Ended up driving back to LA. And it was kind of like a whole chaotic situation because the fires had really, really kind of taken a hold the day before on January 7th. And with the Santa Ana winds, like I came home to an apartment that had a window blown out. Luckily they fixed it, but within a period of, I got home at like 2 p.m. And by 5:45, I got a call from a friend of mine that was like, Runyon, which is the hill that's 6 blocks away from my house, was on fire. And of course I was in Target doing Sarah things. But I was like, oh, gotta go. And in the 4 minutes it took for me to get basically to Target to kind of back to my house, I could see half of the mountain kind of on fire.
Yeah, like you sent me a video of like the mountain on fire outside your window. And I was like, oh my God, get out of there.
No, it was crazy. I hadn't even unpacked yet from Las Vegas. And I drove home. And so I was just like, I'm just tossing this suitcase in my car because at least it has toiletries, clothing, whatever. And then I went back up to but I mean, it was something like as soon as I came into my apartment, I went up to the window in my loft area, normally the beautiful window that's giving me all this light from my home office. And seriously, right out there, the flames were bright orange. And my jaw dropped and I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go. Like, there's no waiting. And so I basically took my stuff down the first time. Because I didn't want to get stuck in any of like the crazy traffic. And that to me was very much too close for comfort. So I came back up and I was like, okay, what else do I need? Passport, credit cards. I had some minor documents, everything. I was like, everything can be replaced. I stood there and I'm like, well, if I'm not thinking about it now, okay. And then ended up leaving. And pretty much from the time that I found out that there was the fire right by my place into the time I left was maybe a total of 25 minutes. And thank goodness, because the roads were already pretty trafficy, but they weren't so trafficy that side streets were full. So I just did side streets all the way out. And then it took a moment to kind of be like, okay, as I kind of got further out of the city, I'm like, where am I going? I have friends in Beverly Hills and West Hollywood, but that feels like I'm going back into it. So ended up, I have a friend that's in Carlsbad. It was an hour and a half south. And I was like, I guess I'm just going to go further away, and stayed there for a week just because it were so tumultuous and weird. It was super weird coming back. It was a very, and it still is a very strange time. Just to see all the images. I haven't driven down the PCH in Malibu yet. Like, to drive by some of the places, it's going to be very difficult to see in person. But kind
just
of
from the pictures, it's crazy. The pictures and what you went through in the videos, it's nuts to see entire neighborhoods just wiped off the map. And I've been, like we were talking, like I've been through other natural disasters, but this one just seems extra scary. Like, a hurricane is coming and you can prep down here. And that's, we can talk about that too, is like how teams prepare for things like that and the bonds you make when you go through things like that. But I don't know, the fire and those, hurricane force winds, and just what I see is like, that's scary.
Well, it was obviously just like it's kind of like a perfect storm. We get winds, but never quite that crazy. Truthfully, I wasn't there for like the height of the winds. What my friends were telling me, because I was still at CES in Las Vegas. But friends were telling me that it was just like, it sounded like a train outside, which is crazy because we get winds, but not quite like that. So it was really this perfect storm and this reminder of how quickly like a fire can grow. And it was like matchsticks going down these houses. It was crazy. It was just crazy. And then ultimately returning, it's this really weird mix, knowing, because like the skies are blue for the most part. You have no idea what's in the air. I mean, you think about all these homes that have blown up. So even though there's all like there's nothing in the sky, you're like, what particles are you actually breathing in? And it's tough because it's like, you don't want to do business as usual because it doesn't feel normal. I mean, the streets were still a week out. The streets were still kind of empty. People were like, I can't operate business as normal, understandably so. So, sorry, I don't need to talk ad nauseum about it, but it is something that's very, it's very sobering when it's that close and you experience it firsthand. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. And my heart goes out to anybody that's had to deal with that, whether it's Los Angeles, elsewhere, whether it's a fire or another natural disaster, a hurricane, whatever. I mean, I can't imagine, especially when you own your own home.
Especially the last couple hurricanes, like North Carolina, that really devastated that whole area. Still not even close to
Asheville.
So there's all these things that happen out there. And I just, it's hard to see. I think it's how people come together. You really start seeing the best in people during those times, and some of the worst when people start trying to loot and do bad things. But I love seeing that, especially, you worked in hotels, but maybe not during natural disaster times. I've had to like prep for hurricanes down here. And that's when you like bond with people. Cause like there's a crew that has to like stay behind and like, you sign up to take care of this place. But it's different than a fire, right? Where that thing burned down and you escape. But I just wish everyone the best out there. And I'm glad you're safe, because I got scared for you. And I know that we know so many people out there that have lost homes and businesses and things like that. So hopefully they're staying strong and come back even better.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing is for people to understand the longevity of this rebuilding. It's not a overnight. I mean, it's years.
Decades, probably.
And I feel so bad for families that, I mean, you've got schools that burn down. Like, I mean, they have to completely relocate because they have to get their kids back in school and have some sort of sense of normalcy. So yeah, it's crazy. But as you said, seeing the outpouring of support was crazy. I mean, how people were like, I will literally give the clothes off my back to you. I mean, I have, my car at home, I have a whole bunch of stuff to still give away, new with tags, maybe worn once sort of thing, because I'm like, have it. I don't need it. Like, please take it, use it. And then also the hotels. I know that there was a lot of mixed word going out there. Well, there was a lot of ridiculousness about this, that people were really focusing, I think, on the wrong things at the wrong time. But there was a lot of people kind of pushing back a little bit on the hotels, but everything that I saw, all the main hotels were definitely doing reduced rates and doing all that they could to accommodate. From Los Angeles, Orange County, Santa Barbara, Palm Springs, you name it. I think kind of the biggest culprits have actually been homeowners that are, renting out places, or rental units, and how they've really kind of started to price gouge, like significantly. Like, let's just say something was listed at 300, now or 3,000, they're listing it now at 6,000 or whatever it is. So it's
you see
tough.
The worst in people. Yeah, you got the best and the worst in people during these natural disasters, and it happens every time. It's sad, but
yeah,
I'm glad that you're safe. And for anybody out there that are watching or listening, let us know if you're in that area. We hope that you're safe too. And if there's anything that we can do to support, if you want to share a link maybe to something that you believe in that supports, or something we can do to give some shout outs, let us know in the comments here. We'd love to be able to help somehow.
That'd be good. Yeah, absolutely. Ooh-wee, what a start to the year.
Yeah, it's been crazy. A lot of things happened the start of the year, from the day one till now.
Yeah.
Hopefully it starts getting better. We get some good things going on. But what?
Yeah.
Let's make a transition. I know it's not an easy transition talking something so heavy, but we got some things to talk about that are trending, right? And we're going to talk about some travel trends, some hotel trends, our predictions for 2025, which is always hard. But GMH, they want these predictions, and we're going to give it to them. To make sure at the end of the year we can see how close we were to them.
Our crystal ball.
Should have brought one over here.
Yeah, I know, right? Yep. I'm sure I can find one.
Yes. So we can jump in there and start talking about some of them. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to hop in there first?
Why don't you hop in? I've done a lot of talking for now.
Yeah. Get yourself something to drink there. And here's where. You're right. So we talk about hotel trends, and we talked about a lot of them last year. And I want to see how we did on our trends that we talked about. But there's something I'm seeing and actively working on too. So this is where I think could be interesting. Is I want to say unique and boutique properties are going to continue to grow and be the places people are going to seek out. You and I both spoke at the Select Registry conference, and we saw a lot of those bed and breakfasts.
Yes.
And I was actually so inspired that I reached out to them. I said, I want to interview like 5 of them and put a story together about these bed and breakfasts.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because especially the one that we gong in and gong out on, like that's where we get that from. If you've been watching our show, but I think these unique and boutique places will be what people seek out. And I think we already started seeing a little bit, but the big brands will get more and more involved in these by buying them up. We saw some of the outdoor experience stuff happen. So I include the unique and boutique in the outdoor hospitality. I think that will continue to go. And now I should be able to start sharing some more soon. But we got the approvals to do the project I've been trying to do, this micro resort on a farm in Miami for a while.
Very cool.
I'm leaning into this myself. So not only am I talking about it, but I'm actually going all in on it as well. So
I love that.
So like they used to say in the hair club for men, I'm not only the owner, but I'm a client, right? Or whatever it was to say. I believe in this trend for sure, the unique and boutique. So I think that will be a big thing for 2025. What is your first prediction, Sarah?
Well, should we talk more about hotels, or should we talk more about like
whichever way you want to go? Yeah, where do you want to go to?
Well, since you kind of talked about hotels, the other one, I'll kind of stay in that lane. I think people are really going to be double downing on workforce development. It's, we're now several years out of the pandemic, kind of finding our stride as somebody who visits multiple large cities in the year and stays in multiple types of hotels, from, smaller properties to you name it. Talent is still very challenging. And I think at this point, and I had said this before, is that what businesses really need to do is invest in their employees, so that it helps make them feel like they're part of something, and you have more employee retention. It increases employee retention. So I'm feeling like now we're kind of seeing a bit more of that. I've been pleasantly surprised with the hospitality that I've received in places. So I feel like it's been like they turned the volume up on it, whereas for a while, people just did not care. And you could tell, and it was so hard and heartbreaking for me. It was almost making me want to start my own secret shopper service and like start like a new TikTok page and just literally like detail my stays at different places. Not try to throw out anybody's names as far as like employee names, but maybe some of the hotels, and then not include myself in that. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe now that I planted that seed.
I was always scared to do that, because then they're like, you're not welcome here anymore.
Yeah. I mean, but like if they do it right, and it's also within reason, you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's going to be a big thing, and yeah, and I'm hoping for that as a true hospitality professional, where it's like, to me, it's all about the service, not the thread count in your bed sheets. We love nice bed sheets, but like it's all about the service. I'm excited to see more of that. So that's a big thing, I think. People are leaning into, or hotels are leaning into. And I know it's not necessarily just talking about technology, which is a given. Oh my gosh.
Which I'm going to talk about right now.
Talk about it.
So a big trend I think will start to really take off this year is truly embracing AI and automation in a lot of heart of house areas.
Okay. Sure.
I was playing with a couple of tools, and it's sad to say, I think a lot of jobs no one likes saying that they're going to get replaced when they're at the properties and the companies, but those jobs will get replaced. They may not fire you, but if there's a job opening, I think that a lot of like the directors of purchasing positions and people who do a lot of the inventories manually and all these things that have been like checklists and papers for the longest time. I hate saying it's a lot of you, all of my friends. I think you got to pick up some new skills or learn how to use this very quickly, because it's putting the power of ordering and inventories and these things that would take hours and hours and hours at big resorts, where you can do them in seconds now. And so I see that happening, which is good, because you become way more efficient. Right, it keeps the cost down for hotel guests traveling, so the rates don't keep going up, is the hope. Yeah. Right, you get more efficient and don't have to have so many expensive salaries, and things can do more for service. But I see that in heart of house areas. I've seen now 3 different companies that are growing. They've raised money. They're getting a lot more hotels, and those hotels are making those changes. So I think the AI and automation will now be getting used, because even last year, asking people if they were using any AI tools, they'd be like, kind of. Like, I use ChatGPT here and there. I use others, but not much. I'm hearing and seeing way more now.
Well, I think also as different POS systems and other programs that different companies are already using integrate more AI into it, I think it's just going to kind of streamline it. I mean, there might be some replacement, but I actually just feel like I would call it more enhancement of people's roles, because you can then streamline some of the mundane stuff, or like the everyday stuff. And then it hopefully frees up that time for, different roles and employees to have more do more hands-on things, things that are, you can't necessarily replace AI with. So
yeah, I just think like there'll be a job opening. They'll be like, hey, do you really need that role? No, I'm good now. I'm under control now with the tools I got.
Right? Yeah, because somebody else is using an AI tool to do the job.
Yeah, so that's where I say, no, I don't think you're going to get fired. I just think that job opening will be like, I actually don't need that person anymore to do that part-time job. Right? Like,
yeah.
what will happen. So hopefully it'll have some more money to give to really great people in the front of house, in the back of house, the leaders that you need in those places.
Oh, totally. I'm with you. I think so. Another trend. Can I segue? Can I segue? The one of the trends that I feel like is just even happening even more. Hold on, I have my notes here. Where'd it go? Is really, and I've seen this in a lot of properties. Really leaning into like revenue diversification of multi-use spaces. So really leaning into whether it's like the lobby bar or different offerings that really will drive revenue in different ways. I know that we were seeing a lot of that prior to the pandemic. I know that, again, it all depends on market, but again, it's also an element of leaning into this other trend that we've just seen, and arguably an overused word, but it is what it is, experiential. And really for hotel owners looking and being like, how can we make every inch of this property an experience? So it's not just the room, not just the pool, not just the restaurant, but like, how can we really just like raise the bar all the way around? And businesses are getting clever, whether they're like, okay, well, we can install like a bowling alley here, or they can do different pop-ups. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, so I think you nailed it. I'm seeing it more and more. One of my clients, I'll give them a shout out, this real-time reservation, they power all that. And so they are working with giant companies. I won't say the names. I don't think I'm allowed to, but they work with big companies and they power all those behind the scenes, like book this room, or it can become a spa room, or it becomes a workout room, or it becomes a meeting room. I can do all these cool things. And as I talk to more and more hoteliers, it's more about the total spend of the guest. Like, how do you track the total spend of that guest easily? Because before it's really hard before, but now with all these tools, you can really track, like, all right, Sarah has her room. She went to the restaurant. She was at the spa. She was in the cabana. Here's what she ordered, and very clear and quickly create your profile. So like, all right, this is all the stuff Sarah's done and what she likes.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, I love that you bring this up, because I was just in Las Vegas and having a conversation with some of the different concierge there, just because to me, it's always so fascinating. That's like, those are hotels on steroids, literally. But it's fascinating. And what some of them are doing is really integrating more tools so that they can accurately track how much revenue the concierge is helping make for the hotel, whether it's the real-time bookings at the spa or the restaurants on property, all that. So they can actually track all of that. So they know, oh, our concierge team is generating X million in revenue for the property. And it's like that pays for itself, or whatever it is. So I think, seeing a lot more hotels lean into that, so that they know that it's not necessarily, yes, there's a soft skill element to some of those roles, but also the tangible, real, like, ROI.
And also who to coach up and who to let go.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. No, right? That is so true. So true.
Like, oh, Sarah's number one, and Johnny, you've been last place for the last 6 months, and you haven't referred to our restaurants one time, right? Like, those conversations out there.
Yeah. Crazy. It is crazy, but it's true. So
it's good to be able to track all those things. I like it. The more data, the better, as long as you can use that data to make really good decisions. I love it.
Definitely. So do you have any travel trend predictions?
I have some travel trends.
I wonder how much.
I have a question. I have a question for you, and I have a travel trend.
Okay. What is your question?
So my question, and you can think about this, is some emerging destinations. I know you're always on this. It's some like new places that people should be checking out that maybe they haven't thought of. I know you're an expert at that, because I want to go check out some new places. But we've talked about this in a prior show, and I think this will continue more because I find myself doing it, is that revenge travel 2.0, where people will continue to book bucket list experiences and luxury destinations. You see more and more luxury hotels being built. There's so many on deck to be opened in unique places, and people are already booking up these places and getting on wait lists to go visit them, like in the deserts. And in Miami Beach now, we have all these ultra luxury places that are scheduled to open in the next 12 to 24 months, and they're already starting. So it's really amazing to see that people are still spending on the right places, right? They're really willing to spend it on the right places. And I'm doing it this year. My brother's getting married and happens to be in Buenos Aires, but we're planning a trip around that. So we're going to go down there, see what's going on in the other areas around there. And that's not
I love
I
that.
would normally do.
Well, and and I don't normally go into too much of this, but for those that know me, know that I do private concierge work for ultra high net worth individuals. And I can say firsthand, again, some that are taking advantage of destination weddings and then turning it into a whole European trip afterwards. That's one that I'm working on. But then going back to like people are spending, I mean, there are people that are spending $10,000, $15,000 a night and locations and a good number of them. So that exists out there in the world, and that is still, and they're flying private to their location. So I've got a couple of clients like that. Then this is what we are actively booking. So people are spending money for sure.
All right. So I'm going to need you to research my private plane to Buenos Aires and to Vegas. I have those 2 trips coming up. So just let me know.
You know? I could probably give you a ballpark estimate off the top of my head at this point. I'm getting that good. We'll save that for later though.
Yeah.
So to answer your question first, it's like secondary cities, like people are, and we've seen this trend for a while, but the secondary cities are like, instead of Lisbon in Portugal, now they're going to like Porto, which by the way, if you go to Porto, if anybody here is going to Porto, let me know. My aunt plays in the orchestra there. First chair, second violin. I can totally get you guys the
so
ticket.
Cool.
And then you can talk to my aunt for a long time because she likes to talk. Also, like Japan, Kyoto, Japan, Medellin. Oh gosh, I forgot how to pronounce it.
Medellin.
Yeah,
Medellin.
Yeah, exactly. 2 L's cancel out, whatever. So okay. I didn't grow up speaking Spanish. Again, so we're seeing destinations like that. And then even people looking a little bit really unique, looking for these like cultural immersions. I found even for myself, like last year at the start of the year, I was like, oh my gosh, I need more like cultural experiences. And then I found myself in Asia and able to go to all of these wonderful countries and just have these experiences that I felt like I had been missing for so long. So I think kind of like what I was even searching for, other people are searching for that. But whether it's even Central Asia or even, the Middle East is also still like, I mean, there's a lot that's in turmoil there right now, as always. But, there are destinations in and around that people are still very much going to. So, I mean, those are definitely some destinations, and people are just seeking something a little bit different.
I was going to ask you that, right? So we saw a lot of companies saying you have to get back to work in the office.
Yeah.
Right. The president of the United States now just said we want people back in the office working. Do you think that's going to change the people who are like going for that full cultural immersion and working from anywhere, kind of the digital nomads we talk about, or is that still something that happens because there's so many entrepreneurs, like single person businesses?
Look, I mean, it's so many entrepreneurs and single person businesses, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be, we're not going to get back to full, everybody's back in the offices like we were before. I understand the value in that, real estate value too. So, I mean, I get it from so many different perspectives. And then I also see studies. I'm on the fence about it because I think it's so individual, but there are studies that are like people are more productive when they work from home. And then other studies that are like people are more productive and feel a sense of community when they have a place to go to. So I still think that it's going to be hybrid. And maybe it's not 5 days a week at the office, but instead of it being like, 1 day a week or 2 days a week, now it might be more like 3, 4. And so I think that that's a safe area that they're playing in. And then instead of maybe these long immersive trips, I think we're going to see a lot more of those weekend getaways because they're like, okay, cool. I definitely have a Friday off or a Thursday and a Friday off. So that means I now have 3 days to play with going somewhere or 4 days to play. So I think that is what we'll see more as far as the getting back to working in offices as well as travel. So it just makes sense. I mean, it's also what I don't know. I feel like I'm seeing out there as well.
That's like leisure travel that we talked about a lot too. So I think it's all kind of mixed. But look, we're I think we have some good predictions.
We do.
Right?
Wait, can I just say 4 quick ones as far as like trends? I don't need to elaborate. Because I know I'm paying attention to time. Okay. So again, still seeing this as a huge thing. So, and I share this because if you're a destination, you can lean into this, do it, or a property that set jetting. So destinations that are really taking off because of TV shows. People are wanting to live out their TV show fantasy in real life in their vacation. So that is still going to be very huge. Slow travel. So people are really trying to kind of like take their time. I think also you've got a lot of boomers that are retiring and they're looking for things that they can savor a bit more. We talked a bit about Bravecations. I think it's worthwhile to bring back like people that are looking for adrenaline and like really like active, fun getaways. And kind of with that is also fitness travel. And that's kind of cool. Yep. And then here's the last one.
Wellness fitness.
Yeah. Wellness fitness. Yeah. And by the way, and why I focus more on fitness than just wellness is that I feel like so often wellness was like, oh, we're going to go and just spa and some yoga and namaste. By the way, I love to do yoga, so I'm not trying to downplay that. But I think it's going to be just a bit more active.
Doing a 10K and going on that hike and going scuba diving, all that kind of cool stuff. I like that.
And then the last one here is love the name of this. I'm actually going to be talking about it in a post coming up in the next week or so. Grammy Moons. So grandparents taking their grandkids, and I love this name. So Granny Moons, and they're more and more grandparents are taking their grandkids, and then they're paying for the trip too. So I love that.
I think it's super cool. My parents would love to do that.
Totally. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But we want to come along too. We don't want to just take the kids by themselves.
All right. So should we do a quick real-time recap?
Let's do it. I was in Boston for the new year, to start the new year. And you know what? I stayed at the Intercontinental Hotel in Boston, right on the harbor.
Okay.
And I got to say, like, I don't know. I think Intercontinental is like this brand that should be really blowing up because every time I stay at them, I stayed at it last year, New Year's. I stayed at this year. I love that brand and they're great. And I got to give a shout out to their club level. I had access to their club lounge.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a employee there, Katerina, that was on point. She ran that whole thing, knew what you wanted when you walked in the morning. Oh, Mr. Turk, your cappuccino with almond milk again? Absolutely. And would take care of the kids, but did that for everybody in the room. And so that's the kind of hospitality I love seeing. It's a good way to start the day. So shout out to Intercontinental Hotel in Boston if you guys are up there.
I love that. That's so great. Well, I have to say, I'm going to do a quick shout out to Delta. First of all, I was lucky enough to get a last minute ticket to the keynote kickoff speech
I saw that
at CES where the Delta CEO spoke.
In the Sphere.
In the Sphere. My first experience at the Sphere, Delta was there. Oh my gosh, you had the execs from Uber. Tom Brady. It's wild. A big thing that they're doing is they're going to be launching a thing called Delta Concierge, which kind of I thought was cool. Great that they're doing that. And it's a fun AI feature. So stay tuned for that. Also partnership with Uber. So I want to talk about Delta. So that was great. Everybody knows I'm a fan of Delta. So yesterday, really cute. So I'm flying from Los Angeles to New York and, I got upgrade. It's the big plane. So it's like they have premium select, which is almost like basically like a business class for domestic travel. I know we barely have business, but it's in essence a business class, complete with a menu and all of that. And so I got upgraded to that at the last minute because of my status, which is fine. But because it was last minute, I was not one of the first ones to board. And so trying to like figure out where to put, I was laughing because I'm like, how can this be such a high class, but yet we're having trouble putting stuff in the overhead compartments? Like, okay. But long story short, I put my stuff kind of in several different places. Then there was another guy that had to put away his bag. He was like, oh, he didn't know where to go, but I already knew what was available where. So I was like, hey, in front of the flight attendant, I was like, hey, let me help you out. I'm going to move my bag over here and you can put it here. And then we can just like, go ahead and fill up the space accordingly. And so he was like, oh, awesome. So we did that. And then the flight attendant was like, thank you so much. He's like, what's your seat number? I'm like, oh, 21D, whatever. He's like, okay. And I'm like, oh gosh, I hope he doesn't come bring me a drink because that's not what I want at 7 a.m. I'm not one of those travelers. But he ends up coming over and he was like, hey, just want to let you know I put 10,000 miles in your account. And I was like, 10,000 miles? Like that's like equivalent to $100 worth of a flight, which was such a wonderful gesture. So I say this as a shout out to Delta, but also as a shout out to like do your part too as a traveler. I also got 5,000 points for my room because I waited for whatever. It's a whole other thing. I waited for an upgrade and then they never gave me an upgrade and then they felt really bad. And I was like, hey, look, we try. It's not a big deal.
I feel like you could play a flight attendant on TV. I could see it. Let me just see here. Yeah. I think so. The Pan Am show that was on for a little bit. You could.
Oh my gosh, totally. Well, I do have YouTube videos out there of when I started Ask a Concierge in 2012. Yes, 2012. That was a long time ago. And I
wasn't even born yet, I don't think.
Stop. Okay, birthday twin. And I would wear a scarf, and yeah, I definitely have flight attendant vibes. That's for sure.
Business class flight attendant. Okay.
Obviously. Anyway.
All right. Well, we got some good things here. I want to give one shout out before we do our quote. Can I do one thing? I got a new book out, everybody.
Yes!
All right.
Woo!
Hospitality Unlocked, the advice, strategies, and insider secrets from 75 of the world's top hospitality leaders. Out now on Amazon. You can get it in Kindle, paperback, hardcover. Thank you for the inspiration, Sarah. You helped me a lot with getting this book done.
I'm so proud of you.
And it's out there now. We got people in the real world sharing it, which is crazy to see people like posting pictures of it and quotes. And it's just a special feeling to see when you work on something for so hard and you don't know how it's going to get received. So,
hey, it's well received and well deserved. So let's put a pin in this that we do more of let's talk about your book more.
Yeah. Next time. Yeah.
Next week, let's talk more because I just got it. The night before. So I just got it literally the day before I was flying out. And so I have between now and then, I'm going to dive in a little bit more.
Easy
I would love to like next week. Let's start the show. Producers in the back.
We can use a quote from the book for sure. There's a lot of good quotes in here from a lot of great leaders in hospitality.
Congratulations. What an amazing start to the year. So glad that it's being so well received. And I can't wait to see you so I can get my own signed copy.
Oh, you know it. Just don't sell it on eBay. I've seen a couple on eBay already up for sale with my signature. So keep it for yourself.
But same. It's so weird to me. I was like, all right, you could just pass it on. But
I'm happy someone sees some value in it. All good.
Oh
all good.
Already. They read it and then got a signature.
Put it up.
Oh my God, nuts. Crazy. Well, congratulations. That is
Thank
very
you very
cool.
much. So everyone, go get one today. Let me see your name on the review on Amazon. That would be a big help.
Yeah.
Well,
super cool. Okay, what's our quote?
What is our quote for the day? How about you read it today? I think it's a good one.
All right. Your success and happiness, it lies in you. Resolve to keep happy and your joy, and you shall form an invincible host against difficulty. Helen Keller. That's great. It's all a reminder about outlook.
Yeah, especially when tough things are going on. You know, she faced the toughest of things during World War II, locked in the same room for 2 years. You can get through anything. And hopefully it's all about your mindset, even though you're going through hard things. I know it's tough out there a lot of days.
And I'm so happy we're sharing this quote now because there's so many hard things that are going on in the world. There's so much noise. I personally tend to go quiet on social media when there's so much going on just because I'm like, I don't want to compete with the riffraff, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or if it's extra noise like that, I don't want to compete with that. Or if there's something really sad going on, I want to give space and time for that. So it's, but again, it is also all about outlook and it's amazing the power of the mind of what it can do. So
it's true. It's a powerful tool either way, good or bad.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. Ooh, man, that was a little bit of a long episode.
Long episode, but a good show. We covered a lot of things, a lot of trends. Hopefully they'll come true. I think a lot of them will. And
our crystal ball. I don't know.
I think we're going to work on our sign off, but I think until next week, guys out there, show some great hospitality to each other.
Yeah, definitely do that. It's always a good time to be kind.
I like it. It's a good time to be kind. And you don't have your bell, but I will gong out for us.
Thank you. See you guys next week.